I just sat down to record a video on channeling for you all, and my little familiar Jezebel slunk by and wanted to say hello. She often astral travels with me. She's like my little guardian through the she's been my guardian through the underworld. So I thought I'd just introduce you to Jezebel. She's a very wise soul. She was a little stray who turned up on our doorstep many moons ago. She's coming up to about 9 years old now, and yes, she's incredibly wise, aren't you, darling? My little teacher. So I just thought I'd introduce you, and she might be around while I'm doing my recording, so just in case you hear a meow, it's probably this little lady. Are you gonna go, honey? So as promised, I want to talk to you a little bit about channeling. So first of all, I guess the question on most people's minds is, what is it? So the kind of channeling that I do in terms of communicating with other beings, because that's kind of the word that is the method of channeling that word is used most often to describe. So channeling beings of light or spirit guides or angels or ascended masters. The kind of channeling that I do tends to be with beings that exist on a fifth dimensional frequency and above. So this it doesn't usually include what we would term mediumship or trance mediumship. So trance mediumship is usually when a spirit, as in a spirit guide or a deceased loved one in the spirit realm, which is more the fourth dimension, the astral plane. Trance mediumship is where you can be trained to allow a being or an entity to step into your body and sort of effectively take over your body. I don't have experience of that, and I'm not qualified to teach trance mediumship. I do teach channeling, but I teach channeling of light guides, of angels. The fifth dimensional frequency, when we talk about the different dimensions, so basically we exist on a physical 3D reality plane. It's what we can tangibly feel and see around us. It's this realm that we occupy, this physical space that we occupy. And you might notice that it's solid, you know, we are tangible. We can reach out and touch objects in this space, and we can see things in our physical reality. But there are many, many other dimensions. We are not just one-dimensional beings, or three-dimensional beings. We are actually multi-dimensional in our consciousness, in our awareness. And to put that in really, really simple terms, you have a physical body, the physical vessel, but you also have what we call an emotional body, which is not contained entirely within this vessel, you know. And a way to put that is, you know, you ever walk into a room and you know instantly that you don't like the energy in the room, or that you love the energy in the room. You can feel the space, you have a reaction to it. This is your intuition, this is your emotional awareness, your feeling awareness. And this is, you are able to actually expand or extend that feeling awareness out from your body. You know, when you're sending love to somebody, or when you're, you know, feeling energy between you and somebody else, it is being sent externally to the body, to the physical body. It's part of a bigger picture. And to tune into these other dimensional levels, well, they're not linear. So in terms of sort of like when we talk about the higher realms, it's not a hierarchy in the sense that one is better than the other. All it means is that some of the higher realms are literally vibrating at a higher and a faster rate of energy. So it's a bit like tuning into a different radio frequency. So you can actually tune your mind or your consciousness, your awareness, into a higher vibrational frequency. And then there are many ways to do this. There are lots of people teaching this. I do teach you how to do this in my workshops. But it's basically about setting an intention to work at a certain level. Now, obviously, we have to get past all the conditioning that our society has kind of put around us. You know, we're taught to be logical, be rational, don't step outside of the box, do as you're told, go to work, go home, blah, 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 blah. But if you can get past that, and if you can follow your own heart and your intuition, as long as it doesn't bring harm to another, then that inner guidance system will always serve you. It will always lead you in the right direction. You know, ever go for a job that you knew you didn't want, you knew it wasn't going to be the right thing, and ended up taking it and being miserable? It's those sorts of things, when we ignore that emotional awareness, we ignore that intuition because we want to follow the rules, or we're too afraid of what others might think. So the whole purpose of being aware of this multi-dimensional self, and indeed the purpose of channeling, is to be more empowered, to understand yourself on a much deeper level, and to get to know your higher consciousness. So there are many different methods of channeling. There is, as I said, channeling as in communicating with higher ascended, Christed beings of light, which I'll come back to. There's channeled writing. I have a... There's also channeled art and channeled writing. You know, people say that inspiration can just drop in, and they begin to create. And, I have an entire book of channeled poetry that I wrote and self-published, which was all absolutely gifted to me from my higher self, my higher wisdom. None of it took any thinking about. It was, I just open up and I allow the words to flow through me, and they just flow onto the page like water. It's something I used to do as a child, and then closed it down. And then when I learned to activate all my healing gifts and my psychic abilities and my channeling gifts, my poetry just sort of switched right back on, and it kind of took a bit of a dark night of the soul for that to happen. There is channeled music, channeled song, channeled energy. Reiki is a channeled energy healing system. Angelic Reiki is another. I have a healing system called Precious Wisdom, which was channeled. And channeled, really, it's when higher wisdom or higher knowledge or divine inspiration comes to you or comes through you, as though it's just flowing through you, as though it's sort of being downloaded to you. It's not coming from the human limited you, it's coming from the divine higher wisdom of your higher self, ultimately. And so when I talk about channeling anything, your primary port of call, your primary guide, and the most important being to channel is you. It's your higher self. So me as Alexandra, the person, would step aside, and I ask my higher mind, my divine mind, to step forward and give me any information that I might need. And we use all of the same senses that we use in the physical realm. So touch, taste, sound, sight, smell, all of these senses are still relevant, but you can tune into them psychically. So clairaudience is clear hearing, and a lot of people think that if you were to be clairaudient and hear spiritually, that it would sound like someone shouting in your ear. And sometimes it is, but for me, it's a lot more subtle than that. I tend to hear psychically in my right ear, and I think it's because it's connected to the right brain, which is the more intuitive sort of spiritual side of the brain, the feminine side of the brain. And I hear my higher mind, and I hear guidance from my spirit guides and angelics and celestial light beings in my right ear. And it's a lot more subtle than our normal mind chatter. So our normal thoughts as humans, we're normally quite mean to ourselves. Like, you'd probably be like, oh God, I forgot to do this at the grocery store, I forgot to pick that up, or what a dingbat, I should have remembered, blah, blah. We're usually quite mean to ourselves. Ever call yourself an idiot? Yeah, I used to do that all the time. I try not to now. Usually once I say it, if it pops in, I always say cancel. But when you learn to listen to the more loving mind, your higher mind, it will always be loving. The guidance will never be harsh or mean. It will usually never tell you what to do, though it will give you loving suggestions about what to do. And it's a subtle, usually quieter voice that will sound like your own thoughts. So when you're learning to listen initially, it's, ask your higher mind to bring you a message. I usually tune into my heart space, because when you're in the vibration of love, it's much easier to hear. And it's best not to strain to hear an answer. Just begin by observing your thoughts. So, I just kind of, sometimes if I'm meditating, I'll just ask, I wonder about that. Sometimes you will hear, sometimes you might get an image in your mind's eye, and it absolutely is your imagination. But the way all of this works is through your imagination. Your imagination is the doorway. It is the key. If you block your imagination, how many times as kids did your parents ever say to you, oh, you've got such a vivid imagination? Well, children do, because they're more open than us, and they generally can see more and perceive more of the true world around them, which is the multidimensional realm. The veil is thinner when you're a child, so you can see magic. You can see and understand what's going on. Like, a lot of kids are very connected to nature. I remember being a child that, I loved playing in the trees and chatting to little insects, and I absolutely had this gift when I was younger. I think a lot of children come in with it, and then we're sort of sent to school and it gets trained out of us, and we get told that it's weird or it's woo-woo or it's weak to show your emotions or to tune into your intuition and to be creative or to be musical or to be, it's like treated as though it's airy-fairy. But gentleness is an absolute gift, and coming back into that space of love is what opens you up to more of your own power. It is power. It's what shows you who you are. Your emotions, your intuition, your insights. It's, in my opinion, it's so much healthier to follow where your heart leads than where anyone else tells you to go. We look so much for advice outside of ourselves. And this is also an issue that comes up when I teach channeling as well. Channeling isn't about, oh, please, spirit guide or angel, tell me what to do. It's not at all about that. It's about navigating your way forward. And channeling, just like any conversation, is a two-way conversation. It's not just about receiving instruction. It is about listening, ensuring that the information you're getting resonates with you, because ultimately it has to feel like a truth to you. The other thing about channeling is that if you're going to learn to do it, I would suggest that you either seek guidance from a professional channeler or someone who is trained or someone who knows how to teach you, because in this 3D realm, we are in a realm of duality. We do have light and we do have dark on this plane. It's not all fluffy bunny rabbits, butterflies and fairies. There are energies there that if you're too open and you're not protecting yourself, can jump into your energy field. So you want to make sure that you know how to ground yourself, protect yourself, open your space safely, and have all those safe protocols around you before you even embark on attempting to do this. The channeling of the guides that I do can be done in a number of ways. So you could either be an interpreter, and this is how I used to channel most of the time, was to allow the energy of the light guide or the angel to just stand close to my energy field so I could feel them infuse their energy with my energy field. And then I would relay the message, but it would be me talking, it would be my words. I would be interpreting what they were telling me and then relaying the message. And more now, I am allowing these energies to kind of interface with me. It's not the same as trance mediumship, because the higher light beings don't need to take over your body. It's not like they're jumping into your body and taking over. It's more of an infusion of light. So they come in and you sort of merge, you interface with each other, and you are absolutely present. You're awake and aware throughout the whole process. You know what's being said. You're able to go and write down notes about it afterwards, or be aware of everything that's said. You can remember everything that's said afterwards. And the way to tell that you absolutely are channeling a being of light is the energy of love that comes with it. If there's any doubt, it has to feel absolutely right to you. Your emotions and your feeling awareness is your compass. If it feels right to you, if you know that the being you're working with is of the light, it will feel loving. You will feel 100% safe. If there is any doubt in your mind that the being you're working with if there's any doubt that they're of the light, or you don't know, then I would tell them to go away and close down your energy fields and shield yourself. Because if there's any seed of doubt there, that's where you can open up to lower or negative energies, and you don't want those nasty things in your body. You can have what we call false light beings. You can have beings that are like shapeshifters and tricksters, astral beings pretending to be angels, and beings that will come in and try and make you false promises and tell you to do what they instruct you to do. So absolutely, if you're going to embark on a channeling course, make sure you find the right teacher for you. There are plenty of great books out there. There's a good book called Opening to Channel by Sinea Roman. Solara Enra does a lot of channeling workshops as well in Ibiza, and I teach channeling here in London, and I'm also doing some online channeling workshops if anyone is keen to learn about channeling in that way. But channeling is, to me, a beautiful light-filled experience, and it's a really great gift because it will teach you how to interact with your higher self and to make more empowered decisions based on what your higher self wants. Sometimes our higher self wants us to go that way and we want to go that way, and we might be completely out of alignment with what our soul purpose is. So it's about getting these two to come into alignment so that the way you're living your life is more in alignment with what your higher self wants for you, in what your soul purpose here is, your mission on this planet is, so that you can more easily fulfill that. And it's about living your joy. It's about doing what makes you happy. It's about having the most fulfilling life possible. So, you know, channeling it is for fun, but it isn't just for fun. It is a tool of empowerment, and it will also guide you to different, answers to different questions that you might have. It can guide you to deeper healing. If there's a situation that you're going through and you have no idea why you're going through it, learning to channel and call in your higher guidance and tune into your higher mind can absolutely help you find the answers that you seek. So as I'm filming this video, my guides have actually all stepped in and they're asking me to do a little channeling demo, which wasn't the plan, by the way. But I feel like maybe some higher guidance might help to explain a little bit about the question of why channel? Why learn to channel, and what's the purpose? What's the point? You know, there are so many people on the planet channeling at the moment, and some of it might feel like good information that's coming through, some of it might feel iffy, some of it might not resonate with you at all, but that is the whole point of it. It's so that we can learn not to just swallow everything that we're taught and everything that we're told. You know, if there's a channel out there talking about a specific thing and you think, God, I don't actually buy that, then don't buy it. You don't have to. We don't have to accept anything that's said to us or through us. You know, sometimes I have arguments with my guides that I'm working with, and I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. You know, some of the information that comes through can be a bit out there, even for me, you know, and I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot, but it's all about staying grounded. You know, if somebody, you know, comes up to you in the 3D and just starts spouting off information, you don't just go, oh, cool, yeah, that's great, that must be true. Although a lot of us do. We watch the news and we watch the media and we take it as truth. It's not always truth what we're being told on this planet. So ask questions. That is the point. Learning to channel will teach you to ask appropriate questions and not to just swallow information. And it will also help you to discern, to navigate what is right for you and what is not right for you. And what is right for somebody else might not be right for you, and what is right for you might not be right for somebody else. So this is why there's so much information coming through at the moment, and we each have to decide what feels like a truth to us, because there isn't one universal truth. There is a lot of universal truth. There is a lot of individual truth. So yeah, just have fun with it, just navigate it. I'm going to just see who is around and who wants to come through for the viewers today. Just to say that I never have any idea how this is going to go. Sometimes my voice changes, sometimes my hands move, the energy coming through me can be quite intense at times in terms of heightened sensations of love vibration. Usually it's always done through love. I can feel a lot of energy running through my body when this happens. Sometimes I will be asked, as I said, to interpret, and sometimes it will sound like a different voice or a higher voice, or my voice might change, my accent might change. It's sometimes subtle, it's not always like, you know, and they will always speak in the language that we speak. They do have access to the Akasha, to the everything. So let's just see what happens. I do have some little kind of protocols that I go through to open and protect my space. So the being that is stepping forward now is, he's one of my own personal light guides. And he's a stellar guide. He's a galactic spirit guide, a galactic celestial light guide. He comes from the constellation of the Pleiades, and his name is Gandar. And when I see Gandar, if I could describe him to you, he usually stands on kind of this side of me, my right side. He refers to himself as one of the Pleiadian elders, and he kind of works on a 6th dimensional frequency and above, but as you get into the higher frequency levels, the distinction is blurred. So somewhere between the kind of 6th to 9th dimensional frequency, I think he operates between those spectrums. He comes in he's a very beautiful purpley, bluey, violet colored galactic being, and he does sort of look like the traditional alien. He's got the round head, he's bipedal, he's got 2 arms and 2 legs, very tall. I tend to see him more as light, beautiful big almond eyes, and he's got a very grandfatherly demeanor, really beautiful, ancient, like an elder, like a grandfather, you know, very loving and but also very sort of can be serious, you know, doesn't suffer any fools. So this is how I would describe Gandar, but he does come with higher wisdom and knowledge to share. I've only just started venturing online with my channeling, so bear with me. I still get a bit nervous about it and about what people might think of it, so go easy on me. Let's just see what happens. You also probably, what I want to say about any kind of channeling is that it's much more than just the words as well. You will, as you tune in, you will feel the energy, and the gift is in the vibration of love that's being gifted to you. Your own vibration will be being raised. You may receive personal messages about yourself, about your own ability to channel, about who you are. And if you're drawn to watching this video, you can probably bet your bottom dollar that you are someone who has had lifetimes on other planets and in other galaxies. You are what we would call a starseed, though all humans are starseeds in some sense of the word, because it's all encoded into our DNA. But there are younger souls who have only ever incarnated on this earth plane. So if you do feel drawn to this kind of work, you probably are an ancient soul. You probably have had lifetimes in other realms and other dimensions. You might also even be more of an angelic soul, a high vibration soul that has wisdom to share. You know, most light workers are of that ilk. So if you are an empath and you have the desire to help the planet, you're usually here to help raise the vibration of this earth. So I'm just going to tune in and see what Gandar has to say. Greetings, beloved people. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Gandar of the Pleiadian Elders and Brotherhood of Light. I wish to bring you a message of peace. Light is returning to this planet in wave upon wave. In truth, this realm is presently being flooded with more light than has been received here for millennia. You might say that the end of the Mayan calendar was the beginning of this return to light. This present year, 2018, that you find yourselves in, this frequency has become more intense yet. There are many beings of many different worlds present among you now. We have all returned here to this space and time to be with you in love, in light, to assist in the raising of your consciousness. In human terms, we would call this the raising of your standards of living and being. For you have for so long disconnected yourselves from all of the glory of the divine that is truly yours to have. I will speak to you of the music of your soul. For if your true soul could play a melody, what would that graceful tone be? How might your true soul sing to you? What would be its sound? So many of you have been playing your soul's music off key, and now you are learning to hum in tune, to sing your melody and to allow your divine frequency to play through you. You are music notes, don't you see? And each one of you forms an entire divine symphony, a cacophony, a harmony. You are the notes of heaven. When one, even one, is playing out of tune, it affects the whole. The more of you that return to a love vibration, the more in harmony the entire orchestra. You can assist by sending the love vibration from your hearts out across the planet in a gift of light For you see, you are the ones bringing this light here. You are drawing it to you and beaming it out. The more joyful and loving you become, the more you call the light to you. The more you raise your spirits, the more you raise the awareness, the wisdom, the consciousness of the entire planet. This is true intelligence. It is the intelligence of your wise and limitless and eternal soul. You are not separate. You are part of a much greater whole. Feel how your energy connects with everything when you are in a vibration of love. When you think yourself small, you cut yourself off. And that is when we find it more difficult to send our love into your hearts. For those of you watching, you remember this high vibration of love. You have lived lifetimes of it. Some of you feel you may never get it back. There is a sadness in many of you. Some of you feel you do not belong here and may wish to return, but return where? For all is here and now, including us. This one channeling wishes to know from which time frame I come from. You see, there is confusion about the notion of a past life or reality and a present timeline or future life. I am here to say I merely exist in a different dimensional space to you, but indeed I exist in the eternal now, just as you do. I am here present with you now, am I not? However, in your human time frame, your human reality, from a linear perspective, I was in a physical incarnation in your past, your far distant past. We, even in that reality, did not think in terms of time frame the same way you do, so there is no interpretation or way to articulate just how far in your past that was. The truth, if you knew it, might just about boggle your brain. But again we say, we are here among you now. There is no separation. We wish to give you a blessing of our love vibration. We are your family of light, and we wish to restore some spiritual nourishment to your energy vibration. If you wish, you may open your palms and receive this gift of our blue-violet light. You may feel it washing over you like a gentle cascading elixir. A cool star energy, like a liquid light, now enters your energy field. And we are sending this into your nervous system to gently soothe and cleanse away any anxiety, stress or tension you may have been feeling of late. Return to your softness, sweet ones. This is what we wish for you, to understand that your softness is such a great strength. It is a truth that is needed now on this earth plane. For too long the pure and innocent have suffered. Compassion is the key, but it must start with you. Be kind to yourselves, sweet children of light. We are bathing you with our love. We are cradling you in our hearts. And if you wish, you may ask of us anything you require assistance for at this time. And I'm just being asked now to give a moment of silence so that anyone watching this may receive their own personal message, not just from Gandar, but from any of the light guides that are present here. There are many other races of light guides too, so if you're seeing other colors of lights, not merely just purple, there's many other ascended light races. There are Lyrans and Syrians and beings from the golden realm of Orion, Auriga, so many beautiful, Cassiopeia, Aldebaran, Venus. So you may have light guides, you might be aware of a color or a vibration coming into your energy field, you might be having a vision of a light being standing around you. All of these exist on a higher fifth dimensional frequency and above. They are all safe and loving beings to work with. Always before you connect with a light guide, place yourself in white light and ask your higher self to bring in your safety, your shielding, your protection to protect your space. I always use Archangel Michael as well. And it was my intention before we even started this video that each of you would be in this safe space, to open a space for everybody before we even began talking about this subject matter. So from the minute you started watching this video, you were already safe and protected. And if any fears around channeling or any new information come up, you can also ask your light guides just to help you dissolve and resolve those fears. So I'll give you a moment just to connect with your light guides. And just tune into your heart and ask for a personal message. If you have a specific question, you can ask that as well. And then once you have received your message, if you need longer, you can pause this video and spend longer with your light guides. And once you have received this message, I want you to imagine that your light guide is placing a small gift or a symbol in the palm of your left hand. And just use your imagination to think about what this might be. And then you may place this symbol or this gift into your heart for safekeeping. And somewhere in your physical reality over the coming days and weeks, you will see this symbol or an example of this symbol. It might be a picture of it, or it might be the physical object, or something that reminds you of this symbol in your physical 3D reality. But the key is not to go looking for it. Your guides will point it out to you at the appropriate time. Usually it will take you by surprise and you'll be like, what? And it's your validation and confirmation that you absolutely have connected beyond the 3D to your light guides in the higher realms here today, that they have been with you. And as I said, it's so much more than just the vocal message. It is, you're being gifted with so much light energy, more than you could consciously ever comprehend. You'll be positively altered as a result of this experience. Remember that everything is always a blessing. If you do have any fears come up, then it's your job to go away and look at those fears, heal those fears, seek guidance about how to move through those fears, because even our challenges are blessings on our path of light and our path to higher consciousness and our return to love. So I'm just going to see if Gandar has any more words of wisdom to share with you. Be aware, sweet ones, that more of us are revealing ourselves to more and more of the populace. People who were asleep one day will find themselves suddenly having visitation from the light guides. This might come as quite a shock to some of you, but it is in accordance with what your soul has chosen for you. Many are coming to their senses seemingly overnight and realizing that they are not who they first thought themselves to be. We will never shock or surprise anyone without prior consent on a soul level, and we will always do so as gently and lovingly as possible. You may even begin to see pictures of us caught on camera in the way light and shadow falls. And what he's talking about here is that I have an Arcturian guide called Brigon, who, if you go on my website, there is a channeled message from Brigon. He's a Blu-ray Arcturian, and he did reveal himself on camera to me in Lourdes in France in July 2017, and you can see the picture of Brigon there, and there's many more of these light guides that are going to reveal themselves. They do travel by the light, so they will reveal themselves in light and shadow, in orbs. So you might think it's a trick of the imagination or a trick of the light, but it is, because they travel by the light. They're not physical like us. You have to be able to see in the space between to see them. And even they say, that only people with the eyes to see and the ears to hear will actually see them or believe that they can see them. But the seeing, it's seeing is believing. You have to believe it to see it. You have to believe to be able to see beyond this 3D reality. Your imagination and your belief and your faith and your trust are the key. So anything else, Gandar, that you wish to say? For many of you watching, you have been through a tumultuous time, but rest assured, a smoother path lies beyond your present challenges. You shall not remain in the wilderness forever, sweet ones. For many of you, this is your final incarnation on this earth plane. With this information, what now will you do with the time you have left in this reality. We are your brethren in light. We come with a gift of peace and the message to remember who you are, for the time has come to return to love. I am Gandar, and I am with you always. So, I would love, if you watched that and you felt the energy and you had any experiences that you would like to share with me, I would love to hear from you. If you want to make a comment in the space below the video, I'd love to hear your feedback. If you enjoyed the channeling from Gandar and it's something that you would like to see more of, or if you'd like more videos on tips for how to do it or anything like that, I would love to hear from you. So, you know, I put these videos out for free to help raise the consciousness of our planet. I love doing it. You know, it's my way of sharing everything I've learned, because this journey is not an easy one, and I think whatever can help is good, right? Anyway, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how you get on. Just before I finish this video, what would I like to do? Yeah, just before I finish this video, I'd like to read you a poem. And I'm going to do a bit of good old-fashioned bibliomancy and just ask, what poem would the people watching this video most like or need to hear? So the two poems have come up, and the first one I think is really telling, especially with that last bit of the message where Gandar said a lot of us are in our last incarnation here on earth, and what would we do with the time that we have left if we knew that we weren't going to live beyond, well, this reality. I think that doesn't necessarily mean we won't come back. I interpret that to mean that we'll be given the choice in future, because I think a lot of us have been caught up in this reincarnation cycle, but that's a theory of mine. It's not necessarily your truth. It's my truth, but yeah, that might be a video for another time. But I'm going to read this poem for you. I have a wonder for the world, forged in that space between birth, life, and death, when I almost didn't manage to take my very first breath. A flatlining baby, struggling for the light. I'm grateful every day I didn't give up the fight. Not everybody knows I'm lucky to be alive, but I don't just want to live, I am determined to thrive. Life is a fragile blessing. Wake up, find your drive, be alive. And the second poem, I suppose, is a bit of a message on the interconnectedness of all of us and that web of love that Gandar was referring to. I like to catch a glimpse into other people's lives. I want to know the feeling that's there behind their eyes. For in that feeling is a mirror of a story inside me, magnifying a hidden picture of something I forgot to be. As I see into that being, shining back at me, I remember unity. You can't get that on TV. So that's just a little bit of treasure from my book, which you can buy on lulu.com, shameless plug. Just to say thank you so much for watching this video and for holding me in support while I venture into my channeling online. It's a bit nerve-wracking, I have to say, but I can't not do it anymore because it's part of my true expression. And I invite you to explore what your true expression is and how your soul wants to express itself. You know, is your true expression painting or writing or singing or dancing? And I think one of the best ways to tap into this is to just not give a damn what anyone else thinks of you, just to go ahead and do it because it's what makes you happy. Channeling makes me really happy because it's a beautiful experience for me, and I just hope that any of the messages that I share on here are a beautiful experience for you as well. And I know that there are cynics out there, and I know that there are skeptics out there, and I am totally okay with that. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. I am very discerning about the energies that I allow into my energy field. I've been put through my paces when it comes to experiencing all the spectrums of dark and light. I know what it feels like to be under heavy psychic attack. I've dealt with it all, and this is why I think I'm very equipped to be talking about it here now on video. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video on channeling. I'm not sure what else I can say about it other than, if you'd like to experience more, first I encourage you to explore your own gift of channeling, because everyone can do it. It's just a matter of training yourself or getting trained or opening up to it. Always have fun. Always enjoy however you are expressing yourself, and believe in yourself, because we've all got to be our own cheerleaders now. No more waiting for approval from anybody else. And I approve of me, so I hope that you approve of you too. And on that note, lots of love, and thank you for watching the Alexandra Wenman Show.